G'day Furballs, it's me again here with your weekly fur vlog, talking about the usual annoying stuff when it comes to fursuiting and the furry fandom. Anyway, on with this week's video! Based on the title of this video, you guys will probably take a very good guess as to what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about fursuiting at a convention, but there's a twist to it. I'm not just talking about a furry convention, I'm talking about conventions like Comic-Con, because I noticed there's a very big difference between furry conventions and normal conventions. And I figured it would be a really good topic to talk about those differences. And how to fursuit at a normal convention, which obviously you're going to bump into a couple of furries on the way. But trust me, there are a lot of differences at conventions like Comic-Con in comparison to conventions like Anthrocon. So I'm firstly going to start off with the differences. I, being a very big fan of Telephone, as well as Tayer, and a lot of other awesome, amazing fursuiters out there, have watched almost majority of all of their videos, especially at furry conventions like MFF, Anthrocon, and some of the other smaller furry conventions as well. And there was one big thing that stood out to me. At your average, ordinary, blah, cosplay convention like Comic-Con, there isn't a lot of, space. You're always in a compact little hallway with little shops on the side, and you've got to squish through. And then when I saw footage from Anthrocon, there is so much space, it's just utter bliss in heaven. And that's probably because it's usually held at a hotel venue where it's close and handy to a lot of other hotels. The venue in itself is very spacious, got a lot of large hallways and corridors and everything any furry will dream of. And then you look at a convention. It's held in a venue where conventions usually happen. Sometimes they're close to hotels, sometimes they're not, but they're all very much crowded. Usually you have at least probably about 2 meters in length for a walkway. And I use that term very loosely here because basically the walkway is defined by shops. And you have people going here, there, everywhere, and it's just a complete mess where you go, where do I go? Whereas at least furry conventions, you will get a lot of crowds, especially if there are poppy furs in the area, but you can at least sort of maneuver your way around. Where it's not you've got to shoulder barge up against people rah, I'm an angry furry, rah, let me through. Now that I've explained that part, I sort of want to talk about the tips of dealing with being at a convention that's not a furry convention, and dealing with the struggles there. So number one, first thing you always want to do, and make sure that you have, is a backpack. Now, I know I'm a little biased with the whole Star Wars thing, BB-8 here, but always having your essentials packed into a little backpack where you can quite easily put them over your shoulder. Yeah! Okay, gotta pop it over the wing. I can't find that strap, oh no. Yeah, you do need a second person for this part, but I suppose in a way, you could just sort of be like an abyss Dutchie and not abide by the rules. Why would it come up? And it can pretty much be any type of bag, like your big ordinary school bag backpacks, or even if you go to places like Redbubble or Teepublic, you can always find those bags with awesome amazing art on them and simply put them over your back, which would definitely be a lot easier than using this backpack. But I still love BB-8, it's Star Wars is awesome. But you always want to make sure that you put your essentials into your little backpack. And those essentials should always be water, some way or form of communication, whether it just be your one that you use every day, or a backup one in case it does get stolen, your wallet, and some little snacks to snack on. Protein bars are a really good example. I say that because every convention you're probably going to go to, you will notice that sometimes they always do have the most delicious looking food, but it's always very expensive, because con food is always like that. And definitely don't touch any sandwiches in packages, because I made that mistake once, and it was not fresh bread. It was not fresh bread at all. Oh. But back to the point. when you do have your little breaks where you get to take the fursuit off and sit down off on the sideline or in a separate room, you can always play out your stuff, relax, and other big thing is, it's really helpful, you can always put your little goodies in these bags. Unless they're like really big giant plushies, like, you know, I always tend to get the biggest plushie that I can find, and they don't always fit into a backpack. But on the bright side, they work as excellent props. The second big tip is always having a handler. 1 or 2, I always recommend having at least 2 at conventions, because you're in a fursuit, you're going to be a lot bigger than what you usually are. You're going to have people slamming into you side by side, and you're probably going to want to have someone to be able to tell you where to go, be able to sort of push people away, but also telling you if there's someone that wants to take a photo with you. Because trust me, vision is very limited in a fursuit. Now, I know I've said this a lot in my public fursuiting video and other tips and that, like staying in groups is really good. It means that you don't get singled out by random people. And of course, amazing, epic, furry photo shoots. Because who doesn't like seeing those? The other important thing is at conventions like these, whether it be a furry convention or just your average convention, you're going to want to make an area where you can rendezvous with others. If you get lost in the crowd, a rendezvous point is legit like the best idea ever. If you get really tired, you need to take a break, you head over to that area, you sit down, you relax. If you get lost, you head over to that area, you regroup together. And also, it's a really good place to just sort of hang out and chill when you do need to have like lunch and all those sorts of things. So always discuss with your friends to a particular location where you can regroup up together, relax a little bit, and be able to eat in peace without being disturbed. And of course, cool off. Now, if you're a person like me where you do often travel a fair bit to get to your conventions and you need a hotel to stay at, it's always a very good idea to stay at a very close hotel. And this is actually a very important point. Staying close to a convention and a hotel area is actually really good, especially for a fursuiter. I say this for 2 big reasons. 1, you want to get to and from a convention without any hassle or trouble. And 2, it's a lot safer and easier because you know your time limit to get to and from the area. You don't have to arrange a taxi. You don't have to walk really long distances in probably a very hot climate like Australia in a fursuit. But also another thing is, you don't want to be walking outside of night. But there are still a lot of people that hate furries. And you're going to be a very big target if you're walking outside by yourself, which please don't walk outside by yourself. Always have a handler. Like, there's always oncoming cars and probably people that are going to run up behind you and try and hug you. So make sure you always have 1 or 2 handlers yet again. So number 1 thing always is safety. Make sure you know who you're going, you have a map or location of the area. Because trust me, there is nothing worse than getting lost at a convention with a lot of people and not knowing where to go. The other good thing is having a lanyard. You can attach your little badge which says your name, or you can be like me and wear your shirt that says who you are. But having a lanyard you can actually put on the wrist sticky thing that, you know, the locket thing that says that you're meant to be in that convention, that you're allowed and you've paid. Because if you're fursuiting, obviously you're not going to want to put anything sticky on your fur. And I know a lot of the time conventioners with their security, they'll always go off for you, but in a fursuit, where do you put one? Honestly, if they can come up with a really good idea as to where to put one besides putting it on your lanyard, they should definitely be given a promotion. Another really big thing is always have some under armor or under clothing beneath your fursuit. Because trust me, at some point you're probably going to need to go to the toilet or de-suit to cool down. And you definitely don't want to be semi-naked beneath your fursuit. Plus it also does save your actual fursuit from not getting too much sweat into it. So always remember to wear your under armor. I could probably make a weird promotion out of that. But besides that, always remember the tips and tricks when it does go to going to a furry convention. Like knowing where the safe zone is, the emergency exits, the toilets, food resources, areas that you can regroup with your friends, ways of contacting your friends, medical areas in case you do have an emergency like getting heat stroke, and abiding by the security rules of the actual venue's guidelines. Like every venue has its own weird policy, so just remember those and try hard not to cause any trouble with security because they will probably kick you out. But I do hope in one way or another that this has been really informational for you guys. And as a fun way to end this video, if you guys would like to ask me any questions, because my next video is going to be the Q&A, comment down below with this amazing tag here for any questions that you guys would like to ask me. And and I will assure you I will be answering those questions. But that will be probably for later on in the week or start of next week sometime. But I do look forward to all of your amazing questions. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye! Compare it. La la la. La 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 la. We all like to stuff up, and I like to sing about them. Do 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 do. Don't ask me why. I like to sing. Do 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 do. Boop.